What's going on there, folks? Good evening. It is the Earthmaster here on this Friday, May 20th, 2022 date, about 7:21 p.m. West Coast time here in California. Latest quake shows a 3.4 earthquake here outside in this area of the world. I want to start off real quick with some crazy weather out around the Michigan area. Around the Gaylord area, northern Michigan, they had a pretty significant tornado come through and do quite a bit of damage out there through the little town. Looks like a few unfortunate, or at least one fatality and a couple people injured out there with this tornado. These are not very common up there in the northern Michigan area, and they do not have the tornado sirens, right? Like a lot of people do. Throughout the southern plains and the south. This weather pattern that was set up here, they only had a slight risk up here of severe weather, but it just kind of goes to show you that tornadoes can pretty much form anywhere. This here is for tomorrow, by the way, the 21st. But the older map here showed just a slight risk of severe weather in that region. Michigan, of course, looks like about 15 tornadoes average annually there in that area of Michigan, but this was here in northern Michigan, and like I said, there's not too many that take place compared to other areas of the south. I think here in California we've got about 10 averages per year, but way up north, yeah, you get that dip in the jet stream here, kind of pushes that Gulf moisture all the way up and get those thunderstorms developing and spinning and creating those tornadoes out there. So yeah, pretty crazy weather out there. I kind of seen that earlier and I'm thinking, wow, way up in Michigan, crazy stuff. All right, earthquake activity kicking up here around the mid-Atlantic ridge with a 4.4 earthquake within the last hour, and the red circle here, of course, we did see some movement in the Iceland area over the past couple days. Now it looks like we're starting to get a little bit of activity kicking up here into this region. Large-scale movement today, not a whole lot. We're definitely seeing a broad area of movement throughout the western Pacific, and also here around the southern, or the central part of the Peru-Chile Trench. A little cluster of quakes here in the Middle America Trench as well. Let's go ahead and check out the West Coast activity first. As we zoom into the California region, we did see some movement here along the Cascadia subduction zone. This was earlier this morning. We didn't see anything recent, just those 3 earthquakes earlier today. Nothing happening throughout the evening hours yet. A little bit of movement up through the Portland area. Outside of Portland, it looks like around Mount Hood. A little earthquake to the southwest of that beautiful volcano up there. And a couple earthquakes outside of Mount Rainier as well. We'll check out the seismograph stations here in just a little bit. Northern California, still seeing a little bit of activity around the Cobb Mountain region. That's going to be south of the Clear Lake area in the Clear Lake volcanic field. Around the Cobb Mountain region, this area definitely been popping off there with quite a few earthquakes there around the hydrothermal operations. Bay Area is quiet. Look at that. Not a whole lot going on there, folks. Pretty quiet. Including the San Andreas Fault here, the creeping section, aside from one earthquake here. That's about it. Did have one quake pop up here within the last hour. It looks like around the Round Valley, California area. This is south of the Long Valley supervolcano here. You can kind of see the outline of the caldera area. This one definitely way south and about 11 kilometers down below the surface. Seen some activity on the Garlock fault structure once again. This earthquake here happening earlier this afternoon. 2.5 near the Johannesburg area of California. Right smack dab on the Garlock fault structure, and it looks like a couple of quarry blasts as well. Probably not the smartest thing to do is set off explosives on a right next to the major plate boundary and also a major fault system here. I don't know if that would trigger it or not, but you never know. Southern California, a little bit of activity throughout the concrete jungle here of LA. Looks like Nothing big, couple small microquakes, all below the 2.0 threshold there. Some of it deep again, 1.2 at about 14 kilometers there for the Rosemed earthquake, 1.2 magnitude. All right, what do we got here? Great Basin area looking pretty quiet. A little spotty activity throughout the Utah region. Nothing going on at all here on the map in the Yellowstone area. So let's go ahead and check out the Yellowstone overview of the seismograph stations here. And looks like we're getting a little bit of earthquake activity once again here along the eastern section of the park. We see this pop up on occasion. It's not big, but it is earthquake activity, and it's definitely showing up here. You see these little signatures right here, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you look over here on these other maps, you can kind of see them, but not as prominent. 1, 2, 3, 4. Definitely earthquake activity. Not being listed on the USGS catalog. I remember getting the email here just a couple days ago from Michael, I believe his name was, the scientist in charge there at the Yellowstone area. Talks about how sometimes it's hard to pinpoint locations and whatnot just due to the lack of seismic graph stations out here in the eastern area of the park. So hopefully they'll figure that out and get a little bit more accurate information on reporting when it comes to these earthquakes, because they're definitely popping off up there along the eastern section of the park. Western area looks pretty calm. Some wind events going on up there. No major earthquake activity or any swarms to report. Looks like a couple smaller microquakes here in the southern area, south of the Pitchstone Plateau area and Flag Ranch area. Let's see what else we got here. Texas, Oklahoma, a little activity, but overall things kind of quieting down along the North American continent currently. This earthquake here in the Virginia area from late last night, a 1.8. Since then, we haven't seen anything kick up out there at all. Puerto Rico region, 12 measly earthquakes. Not a whole lot going on there today. There is the activity along the Middle America Trench. A lot of this is older activity from late last night and way early this morning's time frame, so not a whole lot of renewed movement there. And same thing for the South America region. A couple small earthquakes below the 5.0 threshold there this afternoon with that 4.6. This 5.8 from late last night. Pretty shallow earthquake there at about 10 kilometers up towards the area where the plates subduct. Hawaii, not a whole lot popping up here today, it looks like. Looks a little bit more scattered than anything. The swarm that we normally look at here is non-existent today. It's been kind of tapering off here for a couple days. Some movement up north around the Mauna Loa area and the Kilauea volcano. But all activity remains consistent with no major changes going on currently. Up here down here in the Samoa and the Fiji Islands area, getting some deep earthquake activity once again. 405 kilometers for 4.4, and the Kermadec Trench did see a 5.0 out there. Pretty shallow at about 26 kilometers there. Philippine Plate, western or at least the southwestern portion here, seeing some movement. Again, this is some older earthquake activity. We haven't seen any major renewed movement here today throughout the region, or globally for that matter. One earthquake out here in the Myanmar area, and up here in Afghanistan, a 4.5, kind of in the mountain ranges again. Swarm of activity. This is all aftershock sequence here following the 5.5 in Morocco earlier. Looks like they had a 4.0 in that region. Let's go ahead and check out the EMSC models, see if anything's kicking up here. Looks like it looks like there's a couple more 4s on there around the Philippine Plate than what the USGS is stating. Let's go ahead and go over here and check this out. Latest quake on this map shows, of course, the 4.4 in the Atlantic there that we've seen on the USGS map. Majority of this earthquake here around the Morocco region. Yeah, quite a few 3s and 2s kicking up there, including a latest quake, a 3.5. Has not been reviewed yet by a seismologist here around the Georgia region. All right, let's check out the tremor map tonight. Kind of want to go over that real quick. 110 epicenters for tonight's tremor count. And once again, it's pretty broad area along the northern end of the Cascadia all the way down to the southern end. So it's been doing this here over the past, I don't know, week or so. We can bring up week's activity and see what we can tally up here for a number. And about 2,700 tremors over the last week. Again, covered the majority of the Cascadia subduction zone. There's only a couple areas here that it's missing. That's an area there around the Portland area and a little bit up here around the Vancouver Island ranges. But I would say it's definitely some broad movement taking place here along the Cascadia currently. Volcanic activity here, Mount St. Helens. We'll cover this one here real quick. Nothing being reported in the last 7 days, but it's there. We definitely know it's there. We're kind of just giving up, I guess. Some earthquake activity, obviously, right? Mount St. Helens here within the last 2 hours. Pretty good handful of quakes. These are all microquakes, but they are earthquakes. They should be listed, regardless of how big they are. They're still occurring. Let's check out this afternoon time frame. Looks like earlier this morning as well. And a couple other very small quakes here showing up on the map. But definitely got some activity kicking up there for sure around the Mount St. Helens region. Solar weather activity tonight. Got some movement or some activity continuing to kick up. Looks like a couple C flares here over the course of the afternoon time frame. Almost reaching into the M threshold. Looks like we're taking a little downturn here of activity currently, but don't let that fool you. There's still some dynamics here. Got to watch from 3014 and also 3017. Pretty good directed or pretty good large sunspot here, 3019, over there towards the eastern limb that will be rotating into view. It's pretty active, but like I say, definitely hard to predict these things. Looks like we got a ramping up here of the KP index as forecasted. It looks like 3 to 4, and we're at the 4 range right now for the KP index, with a little bit of ongoing storming here at the higher latitudes. Actually, looking somewhat impressive there for just a KP index of a 4 range. Let's see what we got for the raw data. Let's see here. Density kind of backed off. Looks like we're getting that little separation here between these two lines, the white line and the red line, indicating some tilt in the magnetic field, allowing some of that solar wind in, because density is not really that high. Speed's not all that great. So definitely it has to do with the tilt there, allowing that solar wind stream in. It looks like these guys... Not anything new to report there on their update. All right, folks, I am going to jump out of here. It's Friday night. I'm still kind of feeling a little bit under the weather. Not for sure what we got going on up here. I always like to watch this data buoy center, see what we got far as the reports go. And there is a buoy off the coast of New York, it looks like. That's kind of in event mode. Just a little speck of a... I mean, these are meters right here. And the amount that was noted is very micro small, like super small. But I'm not for sure why it put it in event mode. That's a little on the odd side. But if this is something major, some type of water column height, we'd definitely be looking at more than a little fraction of an inch adjustment there. See what else we got. Anything else out there in suspicious mode? Looks pretty calm for now. We got in Hawaii. Yeah, not a whole lot going on. All right, guys, I'm going to bounce out of here. Try to maybe take some cold medicine once again. See if I can't start feeling better. Just a little odd cold feeling lately. It's kind of affecting my voice and my nasal cavities. I've tried a lot of remedies, home remedies as well. Honey and lemon, it tends to help it a little bit, but it keeps coming back, mostly at night. Really comes back at night. Just a lot of runny nose and tickling in my throat, all that good stuff. So, all right, guys, stay safe out there. It's kind of hard to figure out what's going on here next. Kind of like the calm conditions here before possibly ramping up. Like I mentioned, a majority of this here, a lot of older earthquake activity with hardly anything new as far as late afternoon and early time frame goes. So we will watch it and, of course, report. Hope everyone enjoys their evening. Have a safe night, guys. We'll chat to you a little bit later.